Yeah, g'day everyone and welcome back to the Gold Coast Titans Frontline podcast. Dane here from Clarkey's Rugby League column, joined every week by my beautiful co-host, Russ from Dani
Beautiful.
and Blake. Mate, we won.
You're calling me
We
beautiful
won.
now. We won, and we didn't expect it, did we? We really
No.
didn't expect it, and it was definitely a game of two halves, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, let's call a spade a spade. If anyone was to go back to our preview of that game, we weren't feeling the most confident. And I think we were right to feel that way.
100%.
I don't know too many Titans fans that were confident coming into that one. And
Yeah.
I think much like the first game against the Knights, we kind of relied on them stinting it up a little bit. But regardless, we moved to 15th on the ladder. And that doesn't sound that good, Russ, but hear me out here. 7th is only on 10 competition points, and we're on 8. So
it's just our for and against.
we're alive.
We're alive. Our for and against is absolutely rubbish, but that's because we've been leaking 30 points a game. Hey, we only leaked 20 this game, so that's an improvement on our defense, I guess. But it was definitely we got the win. It wasn't pretty. It was scrappy. It was definitely. I'd like to say it was a game of two halves. Like the first half, we hardly had the ball. Did we? Like I'm pretty sure they got the first 6 penalties straight.
Yeah, they were pumping us earlier. You and I were messaging throughout the game, and we were like, "Oh, I wish we could turn it off." That's how bad it was.
It was that bad.
Yeah, it was not looking good at all. G'day to Cal J from YouTube. He said it's a good confidence booster, but I don't think we've shown enough to say we are back on track. I'd probably agree with you there, Cal. We'll get into it more specifically in a moment. And don't forget, guys, we are live over YouTube, the Titans Frontline YouTube, and Clarkey's Rugby League column on Facebook and Instagram. So throw your comments in, and we will do our best to get them up on the screen as we go through. Let's grade our performance, Russ. What grade are you going to give us this week?
I'll give us a C. C minus. Like I reckon we're somewhere in the middle. Like obviously an improvement. We got the win. We're a lot better in the second half, but that was, I think, I'm not going to say it, but I think the ref was squaring it up a bit. We definitely in the second half we got a lot of the ball, and like I just said, the first half was all the Knights. The second half was all us. It wasn't a perfect 80 minutes, but it was a lot better, and our attack was good in the second half because obviously we scored 4 tries, so it had to be good enough to win, and the comeback was awesome. So I'll put us in the middle, C.
I was going to go a B, but then hearing what you've said there and also kind of thinking about it further, having that different perspective, I suppose you are right. I'm going to go a C+ because we weren't at our best and we didn't really have any qualities in this game where you go, wow, we were great in that area. What we did do really well was stick at it. And it was commendable, the amount of effort we put in. And above any criticism anyone could offer of this game, I really did love our effort. You know, when you're down 20-0, a lot of teams, it's over at that point. But we did show we can fight back. We stayed hungry. We gave ourselves an opportunity. But the reason why I won't quite extend that to a B and I'll stay in the C+ range is because you do, like, a good side should be doing that regardless, right? That's kind of like the benchmark there. To get a C, you tried hard, you showed effort. Then to get into the B's and A's, you need to really excel in certain areas. So I'll go a C+.
Yeah,
it was an improvement, definitely on the last 4 weeks.
Improvement, yeah. It's something we needed as a club for sure. Like 5 straight losses, like we needed that.
100% we did. Like it alleviates some pressure externally, gets some of the talk off Des in the newspapers. And as you said, we just needed it.
We really needed that win because I was just having a look at our next 4 games. Like we play the Raiders this week, then we have a bye, but then we play Storm. I can't remember. Like we had a hard run. We had a hard run coming up.
Definitely. It doesn't get easier from here. So if we didn't win that game, there could have been genuine questions as to when we do win our next game. Let's move along to the Titans news segment, mate. It's pretty quiet on the Titans front here. The only real news since we last spoke is Dave Fifita undergoing ankle surgery. The club expects him to miss the next 3 to 4 weeks. And one thing I'll say about this, and I really didn't enjoy, was the Ipswich Jets coach's comments. He came out in the Career Mail and basically said, "Oh, Dave's a left side player. You've got to play him on the left side. That's where he does his best. I can't believe the Titans aren't." Then he got questioned by the journalists. Well, his stats weren't very good. And he said, "Well, I had front rowers that only took 4 hit-ups in that game. Dave had 9. And it's like, okay, well, you know, Dave's also played internationally and for the Maroons.
Yeah, that's right.
You would hope his stats are up there and improved. I really didn't like how he did that. And then he also twisted the narrative and said, at the end of the day, we came up against a really tough side, and that's why we struggled.
They were coming last.
Yeah, Northern Pride hadn't won a game. So you can't say that Dave struggled in reserve grade because he was up against a really tough side. So I didn't like the comments there from the Jets coach. Other than that, what I'm kind of hoping here, Russ, is for Peter goes away, gets out of the media, gets out of the headlines, undergoes like a mini 3-4 week preseason where fair enough, he can't run and stuff, but there's other ways you can get fit and, keep your body moving. And he comes back with a point to prove because ultimately that's what we need from Dave. If we have any chance of being top 8 this year,
we need him.
$1 million, you need him.
We need him. And they did say this surgery, it's just a clean out. It's not a major ankle surgery. It's a clean out. It's probably had this lingering injury for a while. Now they're gone, go and get it done, have a rest. I hope he comes back, man, because we really do need him. If we're going to do anything, we need Dave for feed. He's our $1 million man. He's him and Tino are our main players. They're our big money players, and we need them on the field.
Yep, it's as simple as that. You need your best players on the field. Let's step into our game review. We beat the Newcastle Knights 24 points to 20, 20-0 at halftime. Let me ask you and to all of our live listeners, how were you feeling at halftime? Because I was feeling horrible. I was feeling, here we go, another week. This sucks. And I think I was right to feel that way, Russ. Would you agree? I
was the exact same, man. I was almost like, I don't even want to watch the second half. I was like, we're versing a team, Knights, who we beat 5-6 weeks earlier, 26-6. And now I'm like, and I put them down as a bottom tier team. And I'm like, now we're losing 20-0 at halftime.
Yep.
You'd have been the same. You've been gone, we're going to come last this year. That's the thoughts are going through my head going, this season's done. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, my whole thing is I got asked a follower take saying, basically who's your wooden spoon? And I said, at this rate, it has to be the Newcastle Knights. They haven't shown enough and they've shown the least of any side. So then when we end up 20-0 down to them at halftime, I felt sick. One, because I knew the amount of crap that was going to come my way. But two, because, if I'm benchmarking the Knights as the worst team in the competition and they were beating us 20-0, I'll be honest, guys, I was literally feeling sick. It wasn't good at all. In my mind, there's no doubts the Knights did fall off their game in the second half, but I'll just go back to why we graded our side in the season. It was because of the effort. If we don't have that effort, we don't give ourselves the chance that we took. If the score gets to 20-0 and we go, this is a bit too hard here, and the Knights fall off that second half and win 24-0, that's that, right? But because we had the effort and because we kept trying, we gave ourselves a chance and we kept ourselves alive. So I did like that. I liked our offloads. We had 23 offloads in this game. I think second phase play, and I'm sure you will agree with this with your comments around how we should utilize our spine. But 23 offloads, mate, we need to be doing that every week and getting the second phase rolling.
Yes, we do. And what I want to say, you're saying the offloads, which is big. Our backs out of our own end haven't been that good at the start of the year. We've been saying that every week. Every single one of our backs ran for over 100 meters this week.
Yeah, no,
that's huge. That makes a massive difference.
Yep. And our forward pack needs that because I'll give you another interesting stat. The Knights had 40 ineffective tackles to our 11. Now, an ineffective tackle isn't a missed tackle, but it's a tackle where the opposition player gets over the top of you. You're kind of just hanging on, and yes, you made the tackle, but you're not square at marker, and ultimately you're lost to the next play. Yep. Now, if our outside backs, like you said, aren't coming in and putting in those hundreds of meters, then our forwards don't have the opportunity to make them miss 40 ineffective tackles there. So clearly we were getting over the advantage line and causing them to miss tackles, which is awesome. One sec, Buggy, I'm live. I've just had my daughter interrupt the live stream, guys. Do you want to say hello quickly? No? All right, can you help out for me, please, Princess? Because I'm live with Blake at the moment. But look, mate, we fought and we had desire, and that's impressive to me because 100%. When you look at our last 4 games where we've had those losses, you can't say we fought hard and we've tried our hardest. You can't say it, can you, mate? So that in itself, for me, I reckon if we go back to the Dolphins' loss in round 4, that was probably the start where we hadn't shown enough. Mm-hmm. And that effort and desire has just been missing. So the fact it was there, I think it's special, mate. I think it's a good turning page, right?
I hope so, man. I hope so.
All righty, let's move to our 3-2-1s, brother. I think they will be pretty similar again this week, but give me your 3-2-1s in order, please.
I reckon we'll have the same 3, but I reckon, maybe not. I've gone Big Tino again, 3. 100. He was on the field for 70 minutes. Look at his meters, 244 meters, 24 runs. Like, can you beat that? 39 tackles. That's ridiculous. Like, he deserves 3 points. Like, he gets it started. Like, that's just they're crazy numbers. I gave 2 points to AJ Brimson. I think the second half, he really brought it alive. He scored 2 tries, but that left side, he opened them up. Him and Lofi Khan-Pereira, they opened them up. So I gave him 2 points. And then I gave 1 point to Phil Sami. Phil Sami was scored 2 tries as well, but also not just the tries. He ran for 180 meters. Like, they're doing the work. So 1 point to Phil.
Yeah, my 3 points went to AJ Brimson just because he did score the final 2 tries, which ultimately got us ahead. So I do have Tino, of course, as my number 2. A monster effort in the middle, as we always say. And I think I agree with you. Those two are interchangeable. If someone said Tino's my 3 points, I'm not going to sit there and strongly disagree and say, no, it has to be AJ. They were both as good as each other there. Without Tino, AJ doesn't get those opportunities. Without AJ, we don't win the game. So it's as simple as that. And my 1 point, Phil Sami. I think a lot of people will focus on the 2 tries, rightfully so. It's awesome when he scores, but I just love his tough carries. I think he's
been doing it all year. He's been the only back that's been doing it every game. And that's why he's got a couple of points from us this year, because he's been that back that's been doing those tough carries all year. And it's paid off because he'd have to be our leading try scorer this year, surely.
Him
and Bo. Now he's got 2. He's probably,
but between him and Bo. But no, you're right. Without Phil coming in and doing that hard work, look at the Penrith Panthers, for example. The games where they didn't have Brian To'o and Sunia Taruva in their kind of dynasty period, even great props like Moses Leota and James Fisher-Harris weren't fully able to get it over their opponents. Yep. But when you do have your outside backs like Phil coming in and contributing 100 meters, keeps the forward pack fresh. I can see Kane from YouTube said Lofi played great as well. I agree. It was awesome to see him coming in for the early hit-ups as well, because we need it. We've got to give our forward pack a break so they can be effective, and our backs were a big reason as to why we came back and ultimately won that game. Affiliates recap time, mate. Townsville Blackhawks unfortunately defeat our Ipswich Jets 21-20, so that means Jets drop to 6th on the Host Plus Cup ladder. Seagulls remain in 13th. Harley Smith-Shields, an option for us on the wing and centres. He returned from a back injury in this game. Okay. And Ben Liu, one of our young forwards, he returned from an ACL tear in this game. Outside of them, there was no real standout stat-wise there. And this week, Tweed will face the 8th place Sunshine Coast Falcons, who are a feeder club to the Melbourne Storm. And Jets will play the 10th place Central Queensland Capras. So I'd fancy us to win both of those games. And of course, at the time of us recording, it's Monday, so we don't know the team list there, but add a few Titans in there, and I think we should win both of those games. Alrighty, mate. Any changes to our team time? Of course, we are recording Monday. We don't get team lists until another 24 hours from now. Now, looking at the NRL website, Kieran Forward, Jamin Jolliffe, Tom Weaver, and Isaac Fa'asuamaleaui are all expected back this round. So I want to ask you, what does our team look like? How do you break it down? And how do you ultimately fit someone like Four in particular back into this side?
So this is how I'd fit him in. I looked at Campbell Gillard. You've been saying it for a long time. I feel like his numbers weren't that great. Like, we're not singling out plays, but I feel like he would have more of an impact off the bench. I'd move Tino to prop, like you've said. Move Randall in, so he's not playing at 14. Play 4 at 14. So Randall lock, and then 4 and 14, and then I think Jamin Jolliffe's got to come back on the bench, because I look at big mention. I thought Josiah Polu he only had 19 minutes, but he was good. Like, all of our bench, Isaac 6 minutes. I know he got injured. Arama Howe 12 minutes. Like, we didn't play our bench at all. So Chris Randall was the only one that got minutes, 36 minutes. That was the only one.
Yeah, we got to use our bench well, and I agree with you. The first step to that is dropping someone like Regan, or not even dropping. I feel like that's the wrong terminology. Yeah, shifting someone like Regan Campbell-Gillard back to the bench as a kind of strategic change there, because he's just not having the same impact that he is stats-wise when he starts. Keep in mind, at the Eels last year, I think he was averaging over at 100 meters comfortably. He's barely hit that for us so far. So
like 50 minutes, also, 60 meters.
Yeah, it's not enough from Big Reggie. This is a guy that's played for the Kangaroos. He was an enforcer for the Blues. He's played in a grand final. And he's the most experienced forward we've got on the coast. So we do need a bit more from him. I also think, like, it's not like we're in first place and we need to be scared to trial new things, right? At the end of the day, we are third last. It's not like moving Reed and Campbell-Gillard to the bench we lose. People are suddenly going to be going, oh my God, what was Des Hasler thinking? That was a horrible move. Like, we might as well try it. There's no pressure if it doesn't work. And if it does work, it could be better for us. I do agree. I think we need to manage Kieran Foran's minutes a bit better, or not a bit better, but just a bit cautiously as he returns from a long layoff. But I would still be starting him, I think. I just have Chrissy Randall on the bench for now. My change would be keep Tino at lock, start Jimmy Jolliffe, who returns from suspension, RCG back to the bench for some veteran leadership in the middle of the games they're coming off, and Kieran Foran starting at 6. Hopefully him and Jaden Campbell can connect well. We can get off to a nice lead, and if that happens, then it's okay, Foran, come off and have a rest, or come off and manage him.
Are you moving Brimson to fullback? That's the issue, man.
Yeah, I guess that is the issue. I think Jalen de Groot's shown improvement, but I get the feeling he won't be with us next year anyway. If I'm Jalen de Groot and I say in Titans, say, hey mate, re-sign here. You've only got 3 fullbacks ahead of you: Keanu Kinney, AJ Brimson, and who am I forget? Jaden Campbell.
Jaden Campbell, yeah.
So I do think Brimson has to drop back to fullback. De Groot hasn't been horrible, but for me, he hasn't quite risen to the challenge, right? You think last year, Keanu Kinney got an opportunity when Jaden Campbell was injured.
He was amazing.
And he came in and Titans fans were like, sorry, AJ, sorry, Jaden, this guy's our new fullback.
Yeah.
And de Groot kind of hasn't done that for me. He's been solid and reliable.
Yeah.
But he hasn't, like, keep in mind, he's the second fastest player in the NRL. Jason Saab's the only player faster. And maybe our spine is part of that and haven't got him in the right positions. But I've not really seen Jalen take a run. I've gone, wow, he's using his speed in this game, or wow, he's finding gaps. So, am I being too harsh, do you think?
I've thought that for a while, that Brimson should move back to fullback. I don't think Des will change it after a win. Guess we'll find out tomorrow.
I think, you're probably right there, actually, on reflection. I don't think he will change after a win, because that does invite criticism and pressure.
Yeah.
Why change something after you win? If we do lose, let's call it a game or two, and maybe badly, then I reckon he might pull the trigger and shift.
I think so. I think Foran's first game back as well. I think I'd be surprised if he plays more than 20 minutes.
Yep.
Like, he plays 14, probably comes on for 15, 20 minutes. Like, he hasn't played the whole year. He hasn't played once. So he got injured in the trial. So
yeah.
Like, yeah.
The thing I don't like about it, though, is like, if he comes on, he's going to be playing like a lock or a hooker role.
That's not the role we need.
It's never been his go. He's always been a left edge specialist. Bo Firma is one of our best players on the left edge. And he's got miles on his body, man. I just don't want to see Foz. I'm trying to think, like, I don't want to see Foz coming off the bench and tackling Joseph Tarpany or Josh Papali'i this weekend.
Yeah.
It's not Foz's go. But we have to find a way to fit our best 17 in. So I think this week he might just have to come off the bench, and maybe if one of our spine members aren't performing, then Des does have an option to tinker around and switch it. So we'll see how it plays out. Let's move into the game preview and talk about it, mate. 4 p.m. Sunday, Reggio Stadium against Canberra Raiders. And it's a big test. We are coming off a win and they're coming off a loss. But at least for me, the Raiders, they sit in 4th, and I reckon they are a pretty good benchmark side to see where you're at. Break it down for us, mate. How are you feeling coming to this one? Do you think we can snag another win?
It's going to be very hard down there, especially. We only versed the Raiders 5 weeks ago. We actually were leading 16-0, and then they ended up beating us 30-20, and that was up in Queensland. They've just come off a brutal loss to the Bulldogs, where they were winning 20-0 at halftime, and the Dogs, and it was a top of the table clash. I feel like Ricky's going to have them firing. I feel like they're going to be out for vengeance, and it's going to be very hard to beat them there. But all we need to do is stick to our game plan. We've said it every week. We need to beat Raiders. Knights, we didn't need to do it. We need 80 minutes of footy. Raiders will need it.
No, I think that's for certain, because as we saw this year, the Raiders are a side that compete well on everything. That's what they do really well for me. They compete and they stay in the fight. Now, when we were up 16-0, I was very surprised. And then ultimately they do come back and get us there. Now, I know people will point to last round where they conceded 32 unanswered points and lose, but I do think that's a bit of an outlier in their season. I certainly couldn't see us doing something like that, so we can't rely on them, being poor there. We need to be at our best to win. It's as simple as that. Now, we played them only 22 days ago, as you said, on the Gold Coast. We lost that 30-20. So for me, we kind of have a benchmark to assess ourselves off of how much have we improved as a side in the last 22 days? Because I know the Raiders have improved. So can we close that gap and show our improvement as well? That will be the interesting thing. I think we've got options in this game. We can match it with their forward pack. They do have a tough and physical forward pack. We probably have a more talented forward pack. And as the Bulldogs shown us, they can be a bit susceptible down the left and right edges. So we've got a few options at least in how we play. The key for me from our loss to them only a few weeks ago was leaking 30 points.
Yeah.
Let's say we tidy up our defense in this one and still score around 20 or so. We will give ourselves a genuine shot. We're a chance at that point, right? The key difference for me, when you look back at that Raiders game, we had 4 offloads and we had 18 tackle breaks. Compare that to the Knights win last round where we had 23 offloads. It's clear that we got to a lead against the Raiders of 16-0 and immediately went into our shells. No one offload, no one do anything silly, just play simple footy. We got to hold this lead, and that's where we went wrong. So we actually need to be pushing the pass and doing those offloads. And even if we get to an early lead, we need to know that's not enough. We've got to keep playing footy. If we can do that, we'll give ourselves a chance. Because I think the Raiders, let's say we go there, Russ, and pre-game Des says, all righty, guys, let's play conservative. Let's kick to corners and let's do all the cliche footy stuff. We lose that game 9 out of 10 times. Yeah, the Raiders are very good at the basics, right?
Yes.
And so for me, we need to throw it around, score in bunches, because if we can score in bunches, we did see last week against the Bulldogs, they can get shell-shocked a little bit, where they're like, oh, this has happened all of a sudden. I'm not sure what's happened here. But my main key to victory here, and I can see Colt from YouTube just mentioned that he's afraid of Hudson Young. Matty Nicholson, I believe, won't be there due to
he's out for 6 to 10 weeks or something, yeah.
So that'll be good for us there. But let's not forget Hudson Young is in contention for a Blues jersey. He's their top try scorer. He's a left-back rower, and he has one more game to impress to get into the Blues. My key to victory is to really lock him down because he has scored at least, if he hasn't scored a try or two every game this year, he's been responsible for because he's been running the decoy, providing the offload, whatever it is, right, Russ?
He's been their best player.
Yeah, mine's lock him down. I think if we can lock him down and chance our arm a little bit, we'll give ourselves a chance, mate. What about for yourself? What are your keys to victory? Or
I was going to say the same thing, man. Like Hudson Young, for sure. He's been their standout player. We've got to match their forwards. We know they've got a good forward packer with Tarpany. Horsburgh's back this week. Zach Hosking, I rate him. He'll start now that Matty Nicholson's out. I actually feel like that's worse off for us because I feel like he's a better player. We got to compete with their forwards. We know they got a good kicking game with Fogarty, putting pressure on him. Yeah, we need 80 minutes, man, of good footy.
80 minutes, and I agree with you. We can shut down Fogarty's kicking game and also Hudson Young's X factor. We'll give ourselves a chance. Look, I completely understand we deserve to be underdogs in this game because I actually really do respect the Raiders. I think they're a benchmark side in this competition. Like when you're getting up for a big game at the moment, if it's not the Melbourne Storm, it's the Raiders, Bulldogs, and probably Warriors of the last few weeks as well. So I'm excited in this one. Win or lose, I just want to see how much we've improved since that 10-point loss. I want to see how much we've learned since going to a 16-0 lead against them and then losing or then conceding 30 points. That's what I want to see. That's what I'm excited to see. And, win or lose, I just want to see us excel in the areas that I know we can as the Titans.
I just want to see us put up a good fight for a whole game.
Yep. My final prediction, Russ, I have to say the Raiders probably do get us. I don't think there's any shame in that, though, because they are a top 4 side for me at the moment. I don't think we're quite there yet. But if we show the improvements that we know we're capable of, we should be losing this one. Let's call it a tight one, like a 6 to 8 point loss. As long as we lose under 10 points and show improvements from that game 22 days ago, I'm okay with it. With it. So I won't tip us, guys, unfortunately. I'd have to tip the Raiders in this one. But I do give us a chance. How are you?
I'm going Titans 13+, mate.
You always go Titans 13+, though.
I agree. Raiders are going to be very hard to beat this week, mate. I'd probably give us the same, a 3 out of 10.
3 out of 10. Well, I wish we had the confidence that Bailey Campbell has from Facebook. He says, we are going to win there. Bums, couple head knocks and we win. I don't know if that'll be a tactic Desi coaches through the week, Bailey. But, I mean, yeah, we'll take anything we can get, guys. Don't forget as well, if you are in Canberra this week or you're traveling, there are 2 events. There'll be a captain's run the day before the game and then a pre-game function before the Raiders game. So details for that are available on the Titans website. And let's do it, Titans. Hopefully we can score another victory. A great week for the club. We get the dub, Russ. Let's call the show there, mate, and go the Titans.
Let's go. Go the Titans.
Go the Titans.